Yes, Sports Roundup with Father Matt Frisbee. Good morning, Father. How are you?
Matt. Oh, good morning, Dave and Rana. I'm doing very well. So much to talk about, probably not enough time. So let's start really quickly with baseball. A couple things I think it's worth noting.
Mm-hmm.
Your Cleveland Indians, Guardians, are in first place in the AL Central.
Solidly.
Yeah, that's right. You know, really nice start to the season. Of course, the bad news for them, their ace, Shane Bieber, out for the season, needing Tommy John surgery. And that's become a bit of a big story across baseball, with all of these pitchers needing serious work done to their arms. Some of the talk being that maybe it's the pitch clock that is causing some of this injury throughout baseball. So we'll see. 8-2, a nice start of the season. Tigers really start off hot. They've kind of cooled down here a little bit, but 6-4 to start the year. I think it's worth noting, just really briefly, the Pittsburgh Pirates, perennial not good team. They are 9-2.
Wow.
To start the season. Yeah. But I think, and we'll talk basketball here really briefly, but I just want to mention one other thing in baseball, which is this. Yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Hank Aaron hitting home run number 715 to break the record.
Wow. That's a big day.
That's right. Yeah, Hank Aaron, just one of those great giants in the game of baseball, and 50 years since he broke that record. So,
and obviously we weren't around during that time, Father, but that was, breaking Babe Ruth's record. One, people celebrated. Other people wanted to see that stand forever.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, that was before my time. But, and some would still argue that Hank Aaron owns the record, not Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let people getting paid more than us make that determination.
I tend to agree with that, yeah.
And that would get my vote as well. I think when you get help, it's not fair. So
yeah. And just to speak about Hank Aaron, because he faced a lot of racial animus during his time too. You think about what he did and the era in which he did it. He was a lonely man in some regards. So really a great feat 50 years ago. So now we should talk about basketball.
What's your favorite subject?
You know what? I do like basketball. I grew up playing basketball all the time. My knees probably are in a state they wouldn't support me playing basketball too much anymore. But I do like basketball. But UConn last night with the win, dominant in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
And the first back-to-back champion since Florida did it, led by head coach Billy Donovan, and the face of that team probably was Joakim Noah back in 06 and 07. 07 beating the Buckeyes in the national championship. So UConn back-to-back champs, and it's their sixth championship since the year 2000.
Wow,
that's incredible.
It is. It really puts them as a program in rarefied air. And it's a program that a lot of times we forget about. You think college basketball, you think Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. There's a story there in a minute. Kansas. Those are kind of the programs you really think about. But UConn has quietly been a pretty dominant program here over the last 20, 25 years.
And with a couple different coaches, too. So changeovers, but continuing on with their winning ways. So.
Yeah, that's right. The thing, UConn, I'll say this watching them last night, they can do all sorts of stuff. They want to run up and down the floor, they can do that. They want to work you with a half-court offense, they can do that too. Really a pretty multifaceted team, a tough team to defend. And, they ran a motion offense. It wasn't just stand around one-on-one. Lots of screens away from the ball, movement away from the ball. So it was something to see. Purdue, unfortunately, couldn't get it done. They would have been the first Big Ten team to win the national championship since Michigan State did it back in about 99 or 2000, thereabouts. So the Big Ten, yet again, waiting for a
And you have to say this about the game last night. UConn had the perfect plan against Edey. They just wore him out. I mean, with that motion offense, as you said, making him work for his points inside, he just looked tired even after the first half of the first half.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing that UConn had, they had a 7-2 guy. Edey, 7'4", most of the time he can just go and do whatever he wants to.
Right.
He had to face someone his own size, and that, of course, was going to force him to work a little harder, too.
Now, Father, you mentioned Kentucky. Wildcats news?
Yes, the big news. Kind of a shock a little bit. John Calipari, their coach, yesterday it was announced, was finalizing a deal to become the head coach at Arkansas, which is a little bit of a shock. He had been there at least about 12, maybe even about 15 years or so. And now I think people were starting to get restless with Calipari. He always brought in a lot of talent, but didn't win too much in the tournament, and including getting beat by Oakland this year in the tournament. And so he goes off to Arkansas, and that leaves that job open, which, kind of traditionally seen as one of these big-time jobs in college basketball.
Yeah, and it comes out, of course, as it does in the rumor mill, that he had expressed some interest in the Ohio State job before Jake was made our head coach. So
yeah.
I think I would have been okay with that.
Father Matt Frisbee, thank you for that sports roundup. Have a wonderful day.
You too. God bless.